What can you as a veteran do right now to help your family? And a funeral I went to with Marines? Coming up next.
No information obtained from the following production is legal advice and does not create an attorney-client relationship with the law office IAJ, Law LLC, or any attorney or professional appearing on this program. You should consult an attorney for individualized advice regarding your own situation or specific legal concerns. And now, on with the show.
Broadcasting from Edina, Minnesota, your host, Attorney Jasper Berg. #Jasper.
Well, hello there. This is Season 1, Episode 2 of what I'm calling Veteran Vitals. I'm grateful for you to be here, both being veterans or maybe your family member's a veteran. I hope you find some value here. Before I get to what you as a veteran can do literally today on your own behalf to help your family when it comes to issues specific to a funeral, I just wanted to share a quick story. I came to the topic of today's show coming from a funeral myself. And this particular funeral was in a very rural area here in Minnesota. And as you know, Minnesota and really the five-state region isn't military focused. So yes, there's plenty of families out there with veterans, but we don't have a major military installation as other states might have. So when I went to the church, you know, the group of people that stand out, and maybe you've already noticed this, but the group of people that stand out at every single funeral, specifically a military funeral, isn't going to be the grieving family, although that's important. If the veteran is older, generally speaking, you know, we're referring to grandchildren. But the group of people that are going to stand out, sore thumb, is going to be the men and women who are there in your honor as an honor guard. And these men and women will stand out for a couple of reasons. Number one, they're going to be in uniform, and they are sharp. And they are going to be related to our whatever branch of the military that we served in. So if you are a Marine and you request a funeral honor guard, you're going to have Marines at your funeral performing that service. If you're a member of the Air Force, like I was, you are going to have men and women from the Air Force there to serve your family in your funeral. So a fantastic connection for your children, adult and younger, and our grandchildren, to see a military presence at a funeral. And I was lucky enough to see this for myself. When I was serving, and you know, we all have stories when we were serving in the military. Of course, I was part of that. I was identified as a person to be on the honor guard. Maybe, I don't know why that was, but I performed multiple services on behalf of other veterans, specifically in the state of Texas. But what a fantastic benefit, and what a way for you to make that connection for your family. Because again, we don't have a strong military presence here, and I think it's a big deal. Now granted, these men and women, these Marines, it was hot. It's hot this week here in Minnesota, and you already know that. I mean, geez, I think today upper 90s. So, but they still are polished and on key, in step. And it's just a great honor. But that just doesn't happen. They don't just show up because they read your obituary. Your family has to go out of their way to request this. And very often, it isn't necessarily thought of right away. Number one, because of the grieving process. But number two, if your family members, your children, are not necessarily associated with the military, they may not even know that this benefit exists. And you as the veteran, can require it by filling out some VA forms which I'm going to link up here, that all you have to do is fill them out, and the ball is already rolling. Now, generally speaking, once a person passes on, the family seeks out a funeral home, and one person or multiple people are going to be knocking on doors of funeral homes, and the funeral director, in my experience, will ask the question, is your loved one a veteran? And then if they are, if you say yes, they will hopefully walk you down that path fairly easily. But that might not always be the case. And so I really believe it's to our benefit as vets to get this process going. But let me just read you, it's worth reading here. I don't mean to read to you, but there's a lot of VA forms. And so you want to get this right. There is going to be a very specific form if your funeral is going to be at a private cemetery versus a national cemetery down here, Fort Snelling. But if you are in a rural area of Minnesota or the Dakotas or Wisconsin or Iowa, there is a form that you as a veteran can use for what is called a private cemetery. Maybe a family plot or just a cemetery associated with your church. All right, so in the interest of getting this right, there are two forms for a veteran to choose from when it comes to selecting a plot where they want to be buried. The cemetery. So which cemetery are you going to go to? Are you going to go to a private cemetery, maybe a family plot or a family area that you've already designated, maybe a cemetery associated with the church? Very normal. Some veterans say, nope, I want to use a benefit to be buried at a military cemetery, maybe at Fort Snelling or somewhere else. But there's a form that your family is going to want to use to get these benefits going on your behalf. And ideally, this form is going to select where that burial is going to take place. Now, I've had plenty of husbands and wives come to me and say, well, we still don't know. Or there might be some disagreement on what or where they want to go. So I get that. Some veterans have filled out both forms on behalf of themselves with the intent of having their spouse or children identify where that final resting place might be. There's some reasons why that might not be a good idea. Actually, plenty of reasons why that might not be a good idea. But, certainly every veteran is different, and it's going to be up to the veteran to kind of think through this stuff on what or where they may want to go. But here's one benefit that I think some funeral directors don't identify correctly. And it's really just because they don't know. You as a veteran have an opportunity to request a United States flag to be used at your funeral to your benefit. So if you've been to a military ceremony of any kind, or even if you do not anticipate using a funeral guard of some kind, you can still have a flag at your funeral. Some families have used this for shadow boxes. Some families use it to drape the casket, during a wake or a review of a body, or every family is different, and of course there are rules in place of how we display the United States flag. But a really key benefit, I believe, no cost to you, the veteran, or minimal cost. Sometimes there's some ancillaries related to shipping and such, but really a fantastic benefit, a way to not only honor your service, which is the key here, but present to your family, whoever that is, from the oldest to the youngest, what it means to be a veteran and serving your country. So there's this form. The point here is there's this form, in addition to selecting where it is that your remains are going to be placed and the type of headstone that you're going to be utilizing, you have an opportunity to identify or select a United States flag. Really, really fantastic. And just in the interest of time, maybe you have a very specific faith that you practice, whatever that is, you have an opportunity to make sure that your faith is encompassed or incorporated at your funeral, which is very normal. And certainly there's a lot of reasons why people go to that effort. But there is a VA form, believe it or not, to help both the honor guard know what it is that you need or want at your funeral so that they can plan accordingly too. Where and how that service is performed, meaning the funeral service, is going to impact how and where and what the funeral honor guard is going to want to do as a honor to you. So a big deal here. So I'm going to link up these various forms. There's no need to really rattle off these form numbers as I've referenced in other videos. Nobody can remember these form numbers anyways, but they are categorized, I think, in a very specific manner. I've tried to do that, and hopefully you and your family find value to that. Again, this is just the beginning. If you can do just one thing, if you are out in a rural area or even here in the Twin Cities, and you drive by or know of a veterans monument or memorial, please send it my direction. Tweet it to me, drop it to me, share it to me via Facebook, what have you. I'm already getting a few coming in, and I'm grateful, and I got a few comments, which is why I'm wearing a tie today. But I got some other things planned, so I'm pretty darn excited. Anyways, with that, hopefully you're having a great July, great summer, stay cool, and I wish you the best.
Jasper thanks you for listening. Please subscribe or share this production.